There isn't one person I don't want to kick the shit out of.
She's organically, like you've said, grown into something of a phenomenon, and they would be really dumb if they didn't capitalize on it.
I am capable of doing this, and look what I did.
She was just a sidekick for Britt Baker. Whenever Britt Baker wanted to beat someone up post-match, she was there for her. She was Britt Baker's lackey. But today, Jamie Hayter is the AEW Women's Champion and probably the best Women's Champion in AEW history. Let's look at the crazy rise of Jamie Hayter in AEW. Before we begin, I have an off-topic question. Do you care about Goldberg having his retirement match in AEW? Answer them in the comment section below. It was way back in October of 2019. Jamie Hayter made her official AEW debut against none other than Dr. Britt Baker on the 4th ever episode of AEW Dynamite. Although she lost, Jamie Hayter had a pretty strong showing, and it was probably the first time fans were seeing Jamie Hayter. Then tragedy struck.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
Jamie Hayter was growing immensely outside of AEW, but COVID-19 pandemic just halted her growth. But despite the pandemic, she was active in the British indie scene and especially Stardom. 2 years later, Jamie Hayter made her return on the debut episode of AEW Rampage, joining none other than Dr. Britt Baker in a post-match brawl with Red Velvet and Chris Statlander. Jamie Hayter got her first pay-per-view match in the form of a casino battle royal at AEW All Out, and it was won by debuting Ruby Soho. This meant that Ruby Soho was the next challenger to the AEW Women's title, a title which was then being held by Dr. Britt Baker. And since Ruby Soho was the next challenger for Britt Baker, classic storytelling suggests that Jamie Hayter had to face off Ruby Soho. She wrestled her first singles match against Ruby Soho in another losing effort. This was probably the first time fans were seeing Jamie Hayter wrestle, and the power and the hard-hitting style of Jamie Hayter immediately caught everyone's eye. Jamie Hayter was just the muscle of her group, and she ate some losses along the way, mostly in tag matches with Britt Baker. But she was doing relatively good in singles matches and got some notable wins against Mercedes Martinez, Sky Blue, and even Anna Jay. There was a brief period where Jamie Hayter was rising in popularity and Britt Baker was about to turn on her, or the other way round. But then the partnership between these two has been so good that AEW has delayed the eventual matchup between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Before we move forward, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Rise of Wrestlers videos. I love you all. Moving back to the video. So every time Jamie Hayter stepped foot in the ring, she was impressing everyone with the hard-hitting style, with the physical matches. She was gaining immense popularity. Jamie Hayter had gotten so over that Tony Khan couldn't deny it. So capitalizing on the popularity, Jamie Hayter got her first title opportunity against Thunder Rosa. She lost the match, but then immediately got another shot at the title. This time, it was the interim AEW Women's title, where she faced Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, and her friend Britt Baker at AEW All Out 2022. But again, Jamie Hayter couldn't capitalize, and Toni Storm was the one who became AEW Women's Interim Champion. But it was evident that Toni Storm's opponent was going to be Jamie Hayter. So at Full Gear, it was Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the Interim Women's title. And it was a really strong wrestling match that put the women's division front and center. It was a hard-hitting match, a physical match which saw both of them unload on each other. Jamie Hayter finally pinned Toni Storm and she became the AEW Interim Women's Champion. The fans were super happy after her victory, and it was exactly what it should have been, proving that her win meant something to the fans who had supported her to this point. Honestly, in my opinion, it just came out of nowhere. Toni Storm had just become the champion, so Toni Storm dropping the title so quickly, it was just out of nowhere. But Jamie Hayter was so popular and she was so over with the AEW crowd that, as I said, Tony Khan couldn't deny it. She has already put on a classic match against Hikaru Shida, and she has already defended the AEW Women's title against the likes of Riho, Emi Sakura, Toni Storm and Saraya, all of whom are accomplished wrestlers. Jamie Hayter's rise to the top has been just organic. The fans didn't just suddenly start liking her. It was obviously a slow burner. And it's thanks to Britt Baker. Why? Because when Britt Baker was champion, it was Jamie Hayter who used to wrestle as part of the storyline to build up the feud for Britt Baker, and she used to eat those losses. Once the fans started to give her that pop, Tony Khan was smart enough to give Jamie Hayter that push without breaking up the pairing of Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And now Jamie Hayter is the AEW Women's Champion. How long will Jamie Hayter hold on to the title? And how long will the pairing between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker last? Only time will tell. This has been the organic and crazy rise of Jamie Hayter in AEW. If you like this video, I would suggest you watch the rise of Jade Cargill in the next one.